What is truth in Fullmetal Alchemist? Truth in Japanese known as Shinri is an anti-villain in the manga series Fullmetal Alchemist. Its anime adaptation Fullmetal Alchemist, Brotherhood, and the 2017 live-action adaptation of Fullmetal Alchemist. It is the supposed supreme being of the universe and sometimes referred to as the universe or world itself. Truth oversees all uses of alchemy performed and ensures they follow the laws and rules applicable. This includes punishing forms of alchemy that break laws of the pseudoscience through means. Truth's gate was opened when the future father used a transmutation circle created around the country of Xerxes to grant himself a body and give his friend Van Hohenheim immortality. This resulted in the souls of all other Xerxians being used to create Philosopher's Stones within the two. Truth was worshipped and acknowledged by the Ishvalans as Ishvala, the supposed creator they named their country after, and the Shinjis as the dragon's pulse, a flow of energy throughout the world. When Izumi Curtis performed human transmutation, something considered taboo in alchemy, to bring back her stillborn child, Truth took several of her internal organs, causing her to become sterile and occasionally cough up blood. Truth reacted after Hohenheim's sons Edward and Alphonse Elric attempted human transmutation to resurrect their mother and Hohenheim's wife Trisha Elric. With Edward being brought before his own gate, Truth appeared, resembling a blank version of Edward himself, taunted him and opened the gate to reveal information on the limits and laws of alchemy. Truth told Edward that in order to repay the knowledge and his attempt at bringing back human life, he must pay with a sacrifice of his own. Truth then strips away Edward's leg and he is returned to the physical world to find Alphonse's body and soul taken. In a desperate attempt to save his brother, Edward drew a blood rune on a suit of armor and transmuted again, giving Truth his arm in exchange for his brother's soul. However, Alphonse was left with almost no memory of the gate or Truth. Ishval Scar claimed to be an agent of Truth, but this was never taken seriously due to his use of alchemy while condemning it. Truth appeared alongside many others to Edward in nightmares until he was eaten by Gluttony, whose insides were an inaccurate recreation of the gate. He transmuted using the organic matter within, but gave a piece of Envy's Philosopher's Stone instead of more of his own being as payment. While escaping, Edward saw Alphonse's body taken and used by Truth. Before he could reach it, Edward was pulled back into his own gate. When Roy Mustang was forced by Pride and the gold-toothed doctor to open the gate, Truth took his eyesight, despite the fact Mustang did not willingly perform human transmutation. Father briefly gained Truth's power through adding the souls of Amestris to his Philosopher's Stone by opening the World's Gate and the Sky's Gate during a solar eclipse, only for Hohenheim to reveal his own Philosopher's Stone-powered transmutation circle in the form of the eclipse, which reversed Father's progress. Meanwhile, Scar used a reverse transmutation circle gained from his brother's research to dispel the nationwide Philosopher's Stone created by the history of Amestris and restore the country's alchemy to full potential. Alphonse later sacrificed his soul for Edward to regain his arm. As his body and soul were reunited, Truth asked if Edward planned to come back for him, to which Alphonse replied positively. Back in the physical world, Edward was able to defeat Father with the aid of most of his allies. Father's body was then destroyed by Edward after greed weakened it at the cost of his life, and his homunculus form was brought back before Truth and the gate. Truth proceeded to mock Father for always desiring and stealing the power of others, and commented that even with removing his desires into the other homunculi, he could never surpass humanity. After remaining calm at Father's explanation, Truth became serious as he expressed disgust and revealed his identity, proceeding to trap him inside where he came from and ignoring his pleas for mercy. Truth then appeared before Edward, asking what he will give to return Alphonse completely. Edward decides to give up his gate, thus losing all powers of alchemy. Truth was surprised by this and asked Edward how he would live without it, to which Edward declared he still had friends and alchemy could be given as a fair trade. Realizing Edward has proven himself worthy, Truth accepts defeat and tells Edward his sacrifice was correct. The portal to Truth was the price for performing human transmutation. Truth then frees the Elric brothers from their torment, returning them to the physical world at the cost of Edward no longer being able to use alchemy.